All right, welcome back to another Wright Stew podcast. I am Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright still. Paul is in speaker studio. I am not. And so we got Tuesday morning starting already.
Tuesday morning. What a great day. Is that the name of that store that just sells stuff Tuesday morning?
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I think it kind of goes along with GoDaddy. Like, it's really Tuesday morning doesn't feel like it should be a store about any. I don't know. It's random. But
I've
yes.
been in there a few times, probably spent way too much money in there. I think my wife likes it a lot, but I don't even know if it's still a store anymore. But anyway, Tuesday morning. So let me tell you about Monday morning.
Okay.
Right. So my son and I, we went up to the cages, got some work in. He had President's Day off. I had President's Day off.
I did
So
not.
you didn't. So we went up to the cages, got some hitting in. I had a couple of good rounds. Was excited about it. Did a little bit of lifting, getting stronger. But on the way to the facility, I hit those train tracks right in front, and I felt it hit real hard. And I'm like,
Mm.
didn't feel. You feel it hit. It jerks you a little bit. So you can tell like that didn't feel great. Good. So when we pulled into the parking lot, my son looked out and he says, "Dad, your tire's hissing." I was like, "Oh man, popped it." So I was like, I didn't want to deal with it. We went in, did the cage work, and then came back, and I was like, "All right, well, hey, we'll learn a lesson, son. I'll teach you to change the tire. We'll do this."
Not to hit
And
the railroad track so hard.
yeah. And, I mean, yeah. So I'll
Life,
get
a
into
lot
that in
of
a
life
second.
lessons today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get out, and I've just got the little jack. So I've got a Honda Accord. I've got the little jack that it comes with. So it's one that looks kind of like
Perfect.
an accordion style. So you got to
Yeah.
spin it, and so I get it up, use the thing to unscrew the bolts, and I don't get the car high enough off. So when I pull the tire off, the car falls back down, and the jack kind of gets trapped underneath.
That is
Everybody
my
was okay.
worst.
And we were all clear, right? Everybody
That
was
is
okay.
my worst fear. Like,
Yeah,
I've changed a couple of tires in some not great areas before. That
yeah,
is one of my, and like your fingers getting caught like right there, and you're just in a complete
yeah,
panic underneath the kind of the
yeah.
brake.
No, so we were clear. I was just, I was pulling it off. I pulled it off, and I just shook it enough, and it leaned because we were on a slight downgrade a little bit, so it
Yeah,
kind of,
a
so it's
lot of
kind
rookie
of,
mistakes today.
yeah. So tough. I'm like, nuts. This isn't great. So I'm kind of under there, and I can kind of pull the jacket, and my son's like, don't do that, Dad. The car will fall on you if you do. I'm like, you're smarter than me, son. That's smart. So I go in the workout, go in the facility, and say, "Hey, has anybody got a jack?" So a guy named James Payne, who was a couple years ahead of me in high school, and actually really heavily recruited as a running back, was in there, and he was working a kid out. He goes, "Hey, I got one." So anyway, he had a pickup truck. So his jack is a little different. Wouldn't fit under mine because I'm still trying to get my jack out, right? And so we're trying to figure out, and then we're over there talking about his truck. And as we're doing this guy just randomly pulls into the parking lot and says, "Hey, you guys need some help?" I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Like it's yes, please. And he had one of those nice kind of hydraulic pumps.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of the flat one, and yeah, man, he gets up and he goes, "Hey, I saw your son." He thought my son, it was his car. He thought he was a little older. Because I saw him here and I've been in this spot and I think it's just I wanted to help him out, right? So he comes over, he gets the car, starts helping change the tire. But before he could do that, he needed help lifting to get the jack or to get the jack under. So he looks at James Payne and goes, "You're a big fella." James Payne literally lifted the car up to get the jack out from under before he could get his in. And I'm like, that dude is just beast, man. Just just so strong.
Where did he go play?
So I don't know his full story, but I think and it might be a good guy to have on to talk through some of this, right? Because he was really heavily recruited. I remember being in the field house at Garner High School, and he, like I said, I was a sophomore when he was a senior, and every day a stack of letters from Tennessee, Notre Dame, like big
Legitimate schools.
big
Yeah.
time schools, and uh I think something happened where I don't know if he made a bad decision. I don't know what happened, but I think he ended up playing at a JUCO and some smaller schools. So maybe we'll have him on. I think he's got.
Hey,
I've
but
heard
he
he's got
was
a really good story to
there.
tell.
He was there when you needed him.
Yeah, absolutely. So really good dude. So he was. So the guy comes and lifts and helps, gets the tire changed. So I wanted to give a shout out. So Lee's Garden Center. So it was actually the owner of the company, Jonathan Lee, who stopped by. He said he was actually heading towards town to get some gas for one of his tractors or something of that nature. But just a kind-hearted young man. So he stopped and we chatted for a little bit after. So thank you, Jonathan Lee. If you're in the Garner, Clayton kind of area, stop by Lee's Garden Center. They actually open in March. They're a seasonal kind of thing. So stop by, get all your gardening needs from them. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I'm sitting to trying to send
Hey,
good
free
vibes out
sponsorship. Free
because
sponsorship
yeah,
for looking out for you. I'm surprised
man,
you're not a. You take me more as more of like a AAA kind of guy.
canceled triple terrible experience with AAA in 1998. And I canceled it and will never go back. So, and my wife, she keeps wanting to get it back, but I refuse to do it. So
That's hilarious.
I'll never go back to old AAA. They left me stranded on the road for like 3 hours because they couldn't get their act together. So
Yeah, I understand. I
done
understand.
with them.
So you,
But I do know how to change a tire. Just had
a
just
little bit of bad luck,
kind of
not
bad
a
luck.
a
Didn't do
little
it
bit of
very well.
rookie mistake, not getting on good flat grade.
Good.
I really do have that
Yeah.
fear. I probably have changed. I went through a spell in my neighborhood where they were building a bunch of homes, and dude, I promise you, I
You
had
get
like
those nails.
yeah, 5 or 6. I bought the system at my house where I could plug my own tires. I'm basically like a garage at my house. And so if you want to get yours sounds like it's probably punctured. There's probably a new tire type situation.
Yeah, so
But
we went and got a new tire, and so that was not how we planned the day, but man, it's great just to see people like that helping other people out. So that was really cool, and I think the bigger lesson. So I in going out thinking like I'm going to teach my son how to change a tire and this and that, but I hope the lesson he took from that was like, hey, be good to other people, help other people, like so.
good.
So something that, and I haven't talked to him about it. I'll talk to him about it in a couple of days. But I was like, man, maybe something bigger and better came out of that. That was such a really kind of crappy experience turned into
Kind
something.
of a bizarre because you've been over those railroad tracks probably hundreds of times at this point.
Yeah, literally hundreds of times.
To hit it at an angle and at a speed that you puncture your tire, and you still got to go a little ways to
I
get it to the
wasn't going.
parking
I
lot.
was going like
Yeah.
25. I wasn't going that fast. Yeah,
So
but
you think you just hit it
James
wrong?
did tell me he had another young man he was working out like a week before,
Did the
and
same thing?
his mom did the same thing. Yeah, hit
Wow.
the. So there must maybe the road is kind of falling apart right there, and it's starting to kind of pop up a little bit. So I don't know. Either way, slow down in that area, Guy Road, and between Garner and Clayton over there on the railroad
Hey,
track.
so pretty slow sports day. Still feel good about the hockey. Still feel uninterested about the NBA All Star game. But I did see where Wade Boggs has rung the bell of being clear of prostate cancer.
Yeah. So when you think of Wade Boggs, what do you think of, Brian?
I think of a hitting machine, and really very close second, maybe first, is drinking a bunch of beers, driving West Coast to East Coast, or flying West Coast to East Coast,
So yeah,
and eating fried chicken. I think before every,
not fried, but just regular chicken.
maybe it wasn't fried, but eating chicken.
Yeah.
All chicken to me should be fried. That's my preference.
What
Um,
of all the fried chicken places? Let's go fast food. Your Bojangles, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Cane's, I guess, is in the mix. You have a favorite?
I do. I really think, Bojangles wasn't as big. I mean, I feel like the people around Raleigh really embraced Bojangles as their own. And so I'd been to Bojangles when I was a kid, but coming to NC State and stuff, it became like, everybody really took ownership of it. I really think the chicken at Bojangles is overrated.
Really?
Yeah, I think the chicken is completely overrated. I would go Cane's probably number one. Mike's Hot Chicken. There's a couple of those places. I'm a hot chicken, Nashville hot type chicken place.
Okay.
I'm a fan of, and then I would probably go. A very solid third would be like a Chick-fil-A, which we eat there, the convenience, and for a lot of other reasons. But Bojangles would be a distant fourth to that, probably right there with Zaxby's. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Bacon, egg, and cheese anytime. It's always fresh. You can get your chicken biscuit, which is usually just okay if we're being honest.
Be a little dry
And so
sometimes.
yeah, I mean, again, I eat there a lot, but it's more convenience, and they're usually pretty speedy. But I'm not a huge. I mean, I go to Bojangles a lot, but it's not because I think it's
And
that
not because
quality
your
of a chicken
favorite. Yeah,
place.
yeah. So yeah, it's solid. You know what you're getting all the time.
That's right.
Yeah. So Wade Boggs did have a cookbook called Fowl Tips, FOWL. So a little play on words here. Fowl Tips, his favorite chicken recipes. Wade Boggs actually played in Pawtucket. So I played that, but he played in the longest game in baseball history. The one against the Rochester Red Wings that was, what was it, 29 innings or something crazy. It lasted over months because they stopped it and then came back and played it again later on in the season. But like you said, a hitting machine in his rookie year hit 349. Pretty solid.
Strong. Yeah, that's
Hit
strong.
349 his rookie year, but finished third in the rookie of the year voting. How about that? Fellow named Cal Ripken Jr. Won the rookie of the year that year, and batted 264, but had 28 home runs and 93 RBIs. Kent Herbeck, solid Twins first baseman,
I
finished
remember
second that
him.
year.
Yeah.
Um, then Boggs actually led the American League in hitting. His second year hit 361. A couple years later hit 368, 357, 363, 366, a 328 career lifetime average.
Which is incredible.
What was incredible too is him and Tony Gwynn came in at about the same time and were just, I mean, neither of them ever really hit for a ton of power.
You
But
wonder, Paul, if those guys get the opportunities, the accolades, if they're in this era, right?
yeah,
I
well,
mean, I
it's kind
imagine.
of like Luis Ariz. I mean, we've kind of talked about that. Like Luis Ariz is, I love him because he reminds me of Boggs and Gwynn and kind of that era of hitter, putting the ball in play and I mean just basic.
Refusing to strike out.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that, but like you said, Boggs made the news this week, so very happy. I'm sure a lot of prayers answered, but beat prostate cancer, so really good about that.
Hey, so Paulie, did you ever, like when you were in minor leagues, did you ever have to have your prostate checked as part of like the team physical? You're down there in spring training. Never.
Not as part, not in spring training. That was never part of it.
And I'm not real sure. I don't know if we had something weird going on, but I remember one year with Cleveland, we're down there, and it's like, hey, we're doing,
Wait,
you
so they
know,
tested your prostate in like spring training, like in the locker room?
yes, Paul. That's what I was saying when we were talking earlier. Yeah, that's when it was done. I mean, I'm full good athlete, 23 years old, no issues, no ED conversations, no
Oh,
nothing. Right. And so we go in there, and it's like a room where this guy, this doctor is, I don't know who was advising who on why this should be done, but they do. It was part of the physical, right? They check your hernias and cup you, right? Cup your
was it
nuts.
was it really a doctor? Is it?
That's what I'm
Did
not
you
sure
ask for
now.
credentials?
Well, no, because you're in that room. You go in there and you hear the gloves pop as they go on, fill the
Yeah.
little lube, and then it's like, oh, and, you get, molested. And now thinking back, I'm just not sure that was necessary. And I'm not sure what it accomplished. We were all young, healthy guys with no, known issues. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's been, hey, Paulie, that was my first time in only time, and so
they gave you the full 16-point checkup. They wanted to make sure all the functionality was there for you.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe
I've
it made you a
never,
better hitter. I don't know.
I
Did it
don't
make
know
you
if
a
it
better
made you
hitter?
a better hitter. It made you Yeah, it definitely made you feel a little weird. You feel like you've been violated, but everybody was getting violated, so it's just kind of part of
Did
it.
they set the mood for you? Turn the lights down low in
The
the room?
lights were dim, and the music was, pleasant
Like some
and
Kenny
inviting.
G, maybe
Yeah, maybe some Kenny
some
G.
Enya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
So
no, I had one.
you never had that. I thought everybody was getting it.
No, no, not in spring. I did have one later on in life. I went to a yearly physical. Like I had just turned 30
Yeah.
and went to the doctor and no, I'm not a big fan of physicals, but it's whatever. You do it.
I'm waiting
And
till 60. I'm gonna go
yeah,
back. I haven't been to the
I'm gonna
doctor.
give it a few years.
Yeah.
So I was felt like I was doing the right thing. Yeah. So he does the hernia check. He goes, all right, well, here's the part you've been dreading all week. And I was like, what do you mean? I thought we just did that. And he's
Like a back rub? Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, no, well, because I had a history of prostate cancer in my family. He goes, well, we start checking it at 30 because you're predisposed to it. I'm like, okay. And so I turn around and he sticks his finger in my two hole. And I I swear to you, he goes, it's a little tight back there. And I said, yeah, it is. And then he takes
Oh God, because
and then
I mean, obviously he was able to evaluate that because of his life experience.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Did that loosen you up, or did that kind of squeeze the sphincter a little bit?
no, oh gosh, just terrible. What a terrible feeling. That he actually after handed me like a couple of Kleenexes to
Because that was because he was done.
he was yeah just wipe the lube off, and then I man just got home, went in the shower like the crying game, just sat in the shower for an hour, just couldn't function the rest of the day.
Oh,
Just a terrible feeling. Yeah. So yeah. So but hey, Wade Boggs, we're happy for you.
yeah, good for you. You got it checked, you got it found, and you got it cleared. So that's
But
pretty
I think
awesome.
with those exams now, they just do it with like the blood. They do a blood sample, and they can tell if like some level is elevated.
That makes a lot more
And,
sense
and
than
they say those,
molesting a bunch
and
of
they
people.
said those tests like were super inaccurate. Like they like
I mean, I don't even know what they were feeling for. I mean, he just went up there, hit the rim a little bit, and I'm just not sure. I mean, obviously it's been 20 plus years ago, but I still was a vivid experience for me.
yeah. I didn't go back for another physical for like 7 or 8 years because of that. I was like, I don't want that done again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
mean, to each their
so
own.
speak. So Wade Boggs played third base for the Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays. So there's a little controversy right now in Boston, or yeah, I guess Fort Myers, right? As the Red Sox are getting into camp, they just signed a fellow named Alex Bregman to a pretty nice contract, big
Yeah.
free agent signing. They've already got a guy named Rafael Devers there who's been playing third base and at a really high level. And Devers says, "Hey, this is my position."
I
I
think
haven't seen anything from Bregman, but
I
there
think I've heard he's going to play second. Bregman.
Bregman. Well, it seems like there's still some indecision, and Cora has been saying, "Hey, well, it's a competition sort of thing." So I don't know
I feel
what
like it
comes out
is,
of
but
it.
also when you pay those guys, Devers has been the leader of the Sox for the
That
last
team,
several
yeah,
years and the best hitter, and so I don't know. It doesn't feel like this has got to be an issue. Sometimes I feel like spring training in those situations they make it more of an issue in the media. I bet that's already kind of been worked out because before Bregman signed, I'm sure he wasn't like, "Hey, I got to play third base." I think he was looking even to move maybe when he was with Houston. There have been conversations because they had signed some guys, some guys were moving around. And so he has a phenomenal glove. He is built more like a middle infielder, like a second baseman, than he is a third baseman. But he has a hose too, and I would imagine he ends up above average second baseman. Devers is clearly above average, probably one of the best third basemen.
yeah,
But man, those
defensive stretch.
guys, there's nothing better than seeing that throw when they back him down the third base line
Oh,
and
just
how that ball comes out of their hand.
yeah.
I mean, it's just so fun. Hey, Paul, so I saw on X talking about like best outfield arms of all time. And so I know you're a historian of baseball. And so, if you want to rank or give your best three, four, five top outfield arms for strength, actually, but mostly strength,
Yeah.
who comes to mind?
Well, the one, so just off the top of my head, the ones that I think Vladimir Guerrero, Larry Walker, Roberto Clemente from way back in the day, Andre Dawson had a cannon out in right field. Those are the ones that kind of jumped to mind, and all of them Hall of Famers. I saw one time Reggie Sanders when he was with the Reds. I went to a Braves game down at Old Fulton County Stadium, and so I was with a baseball team that I was playing on, and we were in Atlanta, and somebody hit one to the corner, and Reggie Sanders. We were in the upper deck, and I swear he threw it from the right field corner on a line to third base.
Holy cow.
So Reggie Sanders had. I don't think he's not mentioned in the same breath as those guys. Ichiro with a great arm as well.
Do you have any modern day guys that stand out? Because there's not nearly as many that did. I feel like it was almost a requirement back in our time. If you played right field, you needed to have a hose piece. As a matter of fact, if you couldn't, you were kind of limited to left field or DH. And
Yeah.
I was just curious if you had a guy that was currently playing that's like, oh, well, this guy. The guy that comes to mind for me, Paul, would be Bo Jackson. Everybody's seen that video on Instagram where he's playing left field and he hoses a guy
Yeah. Well, that's not a
coming
current
back to
guy,
first
though.
base.
I was trying to think of like current guys. Man, nobody really like. Maybe like I guess O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates.
Yeah, and he's
He
just, yeah, if he's
converted,
moving
right?
there.
But he throws the crap out of the ball. Yeah, nobody jumps to mind though. Like,
It's kind of funny though. I feel like some of the things that were valued as far as kind of these part of the tools isn't valued now. It feels like so much that's valued now is can you hit for power and your speed, and that feels like the two things they value over a lot of other things.
yeah,
But it used to be like you mentioned a bunch of guys over, really two or three different, generations. But back in our day, Larry Walker stands out to me, but that was just because I was a baseball nerd. I don't know if I'd stand out to everybody. Roberto Clemente stands out because of all, really what his life stood for. So there's so many videos of him
yeah.
throwing hose and him being a complete player. Again, somebody go watch his swing if you want to see a swing that is non-conventional as far as how his body works
Oh, he
and
took a
still
hack.
creates a ton of juice. Kind of
Yeah.
off balance, off that back foot a lot, and still some pretty good arms that they were facing back in that day too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that was always one of my favorite things too. So in high school, yeah, I pitched, mostly played first base, but also when we took infield, outfield, I always went to right field because because
Show
I
that arm off.
because I knew scouts were going to be there,
100%.
and
Yeah.
I wanted to just yay let her fly. And dude, that was so much fun. Just getting out there and throwing it, and it's interesting too because you see a lot of guys, and I'll see the kids we coach when they're throwing from distance. You watch how the ball skips off the ground too, because that tells you how much spin they get on the ball, and because you get some kids or just people in general, right? The ball hits, it takes like another life and goes right. And then you see some people hit and just kind of rolls and things like that. So that's telling you they're not getting as much on the throw. So it's interesting. You can see even more, I think, sometimes when they're throwing that one hopper to the base or whatever it is.
100%. There was a number of Dominican guys, and I'd hurt my arm in high school, and it was never right. And so it was always a constant battle trying to just be adequate enough from a throwing standpoint through college and through pro baseball. But I can remember playing with a number of Dominican guys, and mostly Dominican guys, but there's a handful of American guys. Willie Tavares comes to mind. The way the ball come out, and it seemed like he got through the ball so good that it almost speed up if you're on clean grass whenever that first hop hit. Whereas
Yeah.
mine was wanting to kick left or right because I wasn't truly getting it
You threw like
forced
two
in.
seamers and cutters and
I was cutting it off, and his was, dude, it was incredible. The guys that really can throw and it looks like the ball can rise, it is something to those mechanics and something to that whip that is in that arm. It's pretty incredible to watch.
yeah, they're just getting behind the ball, and it's a blast, man. It's really cool to see, and that's always one of my favorite things. And you don't get to see it as nearly as much anymore, like a big league infield outfield, because they're doing it before the gates open, and But to see those things is pretty impressive.
I tell you what else is kind of being lost, and we're trying to do it middle school baseball, but like taking a traditional infield outfield, right, and not and travel ball, you never do it because you don't have time before those games. We do it some in practice and try to work through and do situational stuff, but a traditional infield outfield and allow your body to work and get through balls. I think there is something to the mechanics of it, but it's also something to being okay with making mistakes and seeing what is truly in you because you don't necessarily do that whenever you're in a game situation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But and again, and go out there. The best way to strengthen your arm is long toss. Yeah, you just got to do it. There's a
A lot
lot
of
of things
weighted
out there.
balls nowadays, Paul. A lot of weighted
Weighted
balls
balls, yeah, but there's a lot of things online where I think people are trying to take shortcuts to get to that.
for sure.
But just like anything, man, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes dedication, and you've got to do it. You can't shortcut your way to it. There's ways to improve, but throwing a baseball at distance and for strength and velocity, that I don't think there's not a way to cheat the system. There's not a way just to increase. You can't take steroids and get bigger and or throw faster, right? You can.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It felt like maybe there
Uh,
were some guys that did, but generally, I would say you're right. Obviously, so sports day. Do you have any sporting events that you're looking forward to, or what do you feel in your time now that you got like a small window between,
well,
the
spring training
baseball?
games start next couple of days, so spring training games will be fun to watch. College basketball is starting to kind of heat up quite a bit.
NC State's terrible,
NC State
unwatchable.
is terrible. College baseball. We've been watching a lot of college softball in the Stewart household. Saw a good game. Oklahoma State walked somebody off yesterday. We did see young lady named Emma Limley from Virginia Tech actually threw back-to-back perfect games last week.
Pretty
Pretty
awesome.
impressive. My oldest actually faced her in high school, like summer, like travel ball, and she's one of those girls that's she's like grunting every pitch. And I remember sitting there on the side, and she was throwing them like she was like 68, 69 miles an hour. It looked hard. Like I didn't want to step in that box. It's like, dude, there's no, you're throwing from 43 feet, and it's like,
Yeah, that reaction time is like 99, and like a
yeah,
real 99 or 100 or something. I mean,
it
that's
looked,
incredible.
yeah. And she actually, she walked. I think she walked off of her one at bat and just scored. We ended up beating that team that game 1-0. We won because I think she walked in a run or wild pitched a run in or something crazy. But yeah, so a lot of college softball, college baseball right now around our house, and then just waiting for ball season to start. Man, we got March Madness coming up soon though, so a lot of things on the horizon.
Hey, how about you mentioned maybe going to go see a movie? Did you see the Captain America movie?
Saw the new Captain America movie last night. Enjoyed it, kind of getting back to a little bit of old school Marvel. Man, love the MCU, love all the Marvel movies. When Endgame happened, I think it was kind of the end of an era, and Marvel kind of had to recalibrate, and it's taking them a few years to kind of get back to what made it great. I think there was kind of a oversaturation of some of their shows, and once they go on Disney Plus, there's just a little too much, and they kind of a lot of storylines. But it was good. It was solid. It was a good watch. Here's the thing, Brian. So I go to the movies. I'm a popcorn and soda guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
The people in front of me were ordering like nachos, but then there was like spicy Cheeto nachos. This other guy was ordering like an icy and a hot dog. There's too many options. Like, who goes to the theater and buy? And if you're going to one of these places that serves like a meal, like one of those, I'm good with that. That's different. But I don't know. Like, they serve like alcohol in the movies. Like, I've never ordered anything in a movie theater except for popcorn and soda. And the people that order hot dogs and pizza, I don't know who you are, and I don't know. I don't know
Well,
if I want to be
you
friends with
get
you.
to meet one. I feel like some of these movies have been the actors have been so political. It makes me hard to go see them. But a lot of times we turn it into just now it's a $200 experience, but the theater that you go to in Holly Springs, like the AMC, you go in there and you order your food in advance, and then they bring it out on trays. So you get like chicken wings and
Well, that's
chicken
different. Yeah, it's
sandwiches.
different. I'm fine with that, but like the people who are just in line and they're ordering from the
Oh no! I don't do that. I'm above that. I'm more order in
give me the
advance.
popcorn, give me the soda,
Yeah,
and because they take forever in line. And then there was one guy behind the counter.
yeah.
He must have been trained. I don't know what he was doing. He wasn't.
They're
He looked like
always training, and the other
he looked
guy's
like
not
a
doing anything.
he looked like a human Roomba back there, just kind of walking around aimlessly, not really doing anything, just kind of
That's
bumping
not
into
great.
walls and stuff. And then my son and my oldest daughter and myself, we went. So three tickets. We got one large popcorn and one large soda because it's free refills. $70, Brian. $70.
It's hard to
That's why I don't go to
justify.
the movies anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to justify the experience knowing that it'd be available at home theater, at
That's
your
gonna be on
house in
Disney
three
Plus
months.
in a month and a half. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. It about prices you out, and it has to be something again where it doesn't feel like. So if you were rating on a scale of 1 to 10, are you giving this a 6, 7?
Yes, 6.5, 7. Yeah, not the finest. Not it wasn't bad
It
by
was
any means.
entertaining if you could go in and kind of turn your mind off everything else and kind of
Yeah,
just
it was
yeah.
entertaining. And we've invested so much into the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the Iron Man and even predating that. I went to see the Hulk movie and all that back in the day, and always been a big like kind of comic book movie guy. But my
That
my
makes sense.
my kids have grown up with it and they love it, and I think they realize that kind of that golden era of the MCU is gone and past, but they're hoping and just that it starts coming back and gets good again. But
I think
yeah,
it needs a hard reset. I think the movies in general need a hard reset.
yeah,
But anyway, hey, so we got anything else? We good on this Tuesday morning? I might need to go to work today.
yeah. Go. Let's go get some work done. But hey, we appreciate you listening. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Hey, click those little buttons that get notifications when the podcast pops up, so you get it first thing in the morning, and then you can, on your way to work, on your way to carpool, listen to it with your family and friends. So make sure you're doing that, and then make sure you check out the merch shop. Get some t-shirts, hoodies, all that sort of thing. So we got some snow in the forecast coming up, so make sure you're staying warm here in North Carolina. But otherwise, have an amazing day.
Out, go pack. 3-0.